Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. Introduction. Imagine you're a young writer, barely making ends meet, and you get the opportunity of a lifetime, an interview with Andrew Carnegie. At that time, Carnegie was one of the richest, most powerful men on the planet. He was the king of steel, a titan of industry. You expect a short, formal interview. Maybe 15 minutes, if you're lucky. But as you start talking, something shifts. The old industrialist sees a spark in your eyes. He leans in, intrigued. The interview stretches from minutes to hours. It turns into a 3-day marathon at his grand estate. And at the end of it all, this titan of industry, this man who built an empire from nothing, looks at you and makes an offer that will change your life, and the lives of millions. He says to you, "I believe the principles of success can be taught. They can be organized into a philosophy that anyone can use to achieve their dreams. I've spent my life discovering and applying these laws. Now, I will open doors for you. I will introduce you to the most successful men alive, men like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, John D. Rockefeller. Your job is to study them, analyze their methods, and distill their secrets into a single, complete philosophy of achievement. It will take you 20 years. You will receive no pay, only my introductions and expenses. You have 60 seconds to decide. What would you do?" The young man faced with that decision was Napoleon Hill. And he said yes in 29 seconds. Carnegie later told him that if he had taken a full minute to decide, the offer would have been withdrawn. A man who cannot make a decision promptly, Carnegie believed, cannot be trusted to see it through. That single decisive yes launched a 20-year quest. Napoleon Hill dedicated his life to uncovering the timeless laws that govern success. He didn't just study success, he dissected it. He reverse-engineered the lives of the world's greatest achievers to create a blueprint, a map that anyone, anywhere, could follow. The result was a masterpiece, a multi-volume course called Law of Success. First published in 1928, it became the foundation for the entire modern self-help movement and has been credited with creating more millionaires than any other philosophy in history. Today, we're going to walk through that very blueprint. This isn't just a book summary. This is an invitation to understand the 17 fundamental principles that have guided the most successful people who ever lived. By the end of our time together, you will hold in your mind the master key to unlocking your own potential, a key forged from the wisdom of giants and passed down to you. Book summary. So where does this grand journey to success begin? It doesn't start with money, or connections, or even a brilliant idea. According to Napoleon Hill, it starts with something much more fundamental, something you have complete control over. It starts with a definite chief aim. Think of it like this. Imagine a ship leaving the harbor. It's a magnificent vessel, with a powerful engine and a skilled crew. But it has no rudder and no destination plotted on its map. It just drifts. It might travel for thousands of miles, burning enormous amounts of fuel, but it will never arrive anywhere. It will just be pushed around by the winds and the tides until it runs out of energy and is lost at sea. Hill says that 95% of people go through life exactly like that ship. They have dreams, they have energy, they are willing to work hard. But they have no single, clear, definite purpose. They drift. One day they're interested in this, the next day something else catches their eye. Their energy is scattered in 100 different directions. The 5% who succeed, however, are different. They have a definite chief aim. It's their North Star. It's the one burning desire that guides every decision they make, every action they take. When you fix a definite purpose in your mind, a strange and wonderful thing begins to happen. Your mind becomes a magnet. You start to notice things you never saw before. You overhear a conversation that gives you an idea. You see an article in a newspaper that points you toward an opportunity. You meet someone who has the exact knowledge you need. It's not magic, it's the law of concentration at work. Your mind, now focused like a laser beam, begins to attract the people, resources, and opportunities necessary for the attainment of your goal. Hill learned this from the masters. Andrew Carnegie's definite aim was to organize the steel industry. Henry Ford's was to build a dependable, affordable automobile for the masses. Thomas Edison's was to harness the laws of nature through invention. Each of these men knew, with absolute clarity, what they wanted. Their purpose was not a vague wish, it was a burning obsession. So the first step, before you do anything else, is to decide what you want most in life. Not what your parents want for you, or what your friends think you should do. What do you want? Write it down. Be clear, be specific. And then, Hill instructs, place that written statement where you will see it every single day, morning and night. This simple act begins to impress your aim upon your subconscious mind, turning it from a mere wish into a driving command. But a definite aim, no matter how clear, is just a dream without the belief that you can achieve it. This brings us to the second great principle, self-confidence. Hill says that your only real limitation is the one you set up in your own mind. We are all held back by 6 basic fears: the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of losing someone's love, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. These fears are like ghosts whispering in your ear, "You can't do it. You're not smart enough. You'll fail. What will people say?" Self-confidence is the weapon that slays these ghosts. But true self-confidence isn't arrogance or empty boasting. It's a quiet, deep-seated belief in your own ability, built on a foundation of knowledge. Hill gives us a powerful formula to build it. It's a form of self-talk, or what he calls autosuggestion. Every day, you are to repeat this to yourself. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose, therefore I demand of myself persistent, aggressive, and continuous action toward its attainment. You are essentially giving your mind new instructions. You are overriding the old programming of fear and doubt. You are not just hoping for confidence, you are demanding it. You are creating a mental picture of the person you intend to be, a person of power, poise, and unshakable belief. Think of the young salesman who was so impressed by a lecture on self-confidence that he decided to put it to the ultimate test. He made a list of 12 merchants in his town who were known as impossibilities, the ones that every other salesman had failed to sell. Before he made a single call, he repeated to himself over and over, "You will purchase advertising space from me before the end of the month." He walked into those stores not with the timid energy of a man hoping to make a sale, but with the quiet assurance of a man who knew he would. He sold 3 on the first day. By the end of the week, he had sold 2 more. He kept his focus on the one last holdout, visiting him every single morning for a month. On the last day, the merchant, worn down but impressed, finally asked, "Why have you wasted your time on me?" The young man replied, "Wasted my time? I've been going to school, and you've been my teacher. I've been drilling myself in self-confidence." The merchant, struck by this display of persistence, gave him the order. That young man went on to become a millionaire. He succeeded because he deliberately charged his own mind with self-confidence until it became an irresistible force. With a clear aim and the confidence to pursue it, you are ready for the next step, taking action. This leads us to the principle of initiative and leadership. Initiative, as the great writer Elbert Hubbard said, is doing the right thing without being told. It's that rare quality that separates the leaders from the followers. The world, Hill explains, bestows its biggest prizes on those who don't wait for instructions. They see a need, they see an opportunity, and they act. Leadership is not about a title or a position of authority. True leadership is the ability to inspire others to cooperate and work towards a common goal. It's never forced, it's earned. And it begins with initiative. Think of the story Hill tells about how he secured $25,000 in capital when he had nothing to offer as collateral. He wanted to start a school for advertising and salesmanship. He had the curriculum, but no money. The usual path would be to go to a bank, but he knew he'd be turned away. So, he used his initiative. He identified a business college that was struggling with competition. He didn't ask them for a loan. Instead, he proposed an alliance. He said, in effect, "You need a competitive edge. I have a one-of-a-kind course that will bring new students to your door. Let me establish my school as a department within your college. You use your credit to fund the advertising, and we'll pay it all back from the tuition fees. Once the department has paid for itself, it becomes mine to run independently." It was a brilliant plan where everyone won. The college got a powerful new offering that crushed its competition, and Hill got his $25,000 worth of credit. He didn't wait for an opportunity, he created one by thinking about the needs of others. This is the essence of leadership. A true leader doesn't think, "What can I get?" They think, "What can I give? How can I create a plan where everyone benefits?" This kind of thinking requires a powerful tool, the workshop of the human mind, imagination. Most people think of imagination as something for children or artists, daydreaming and fantasy. But Hill saw it as the most critical, practical tool for success. Imagination, he said, is where all plans are created. It's the faculty that allows you to take old ideas and reassemble them into new combinations. Clarence Saunders was a grocery clerk earning $20 a week. One day, he stood in a line at a cafeteria, holding a tray, waiting to serve himself. As he stood there, his imagination kicked into high gear. He took that simple self-help idea from the cafeteria and applied it to a grocery store. In that moment, the Piggly Wiggly concept was born, the world's first self-service grocery store. Saunders wasn't an inventor, he was a connector of ideas. His imagination bridged two separate worlds, and in doing so, made him a millionaire. This is what Hill calls creative vision. It's the ability to see what isn't there yet. It's seeing a great railway system where there's only an empty desert, as James J. Hill did. It's seeing a world lit by electricity when everyone else is still using gas lamps, as Thomas Edison did. Your imagination is the only thing in the world you have absolute control over. No one can stop you from dreaming, from planning, from seeing in your mind's eye the person you want to become and the life you want to live. This is where you build your blueprints. You take your definite chief aim, and in the workshop of your imagination, you begin to construct the plans to make it a reality. Now, with a clear purpose, unwavering confidence, the drive of initiative, and the creative power of imagination, you have built a powerful inner engine. But how do you fuel it? How do you give it the energy to overcome obstacles and inspire others? The answer is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is not just an emotion, it's a state of mind. It's the vital force that turns a boring task into an exciting challenge. Hill compared it to steam in a locomotive. Without it, you're just a cold, inert machine. With it, you are an unstoppable force. And here's the most powerful thing about enthusiasm: it's contagious. When you speak with genuine enthusiasm, it's not just your words that people hear, it's the conviction in your voice, the light in your eyes, the energy radiating from you. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to the emotions of others. It makes them want to believe in you and your vision. Billy Sunday, the most famous evangelist of his day, wasn't a great theologian, but he was a master of enthusiasm. He could move an entire stadium of people to his cause because he spoke from a heart that was on fire. A great salesperson doesn't just sell a product, they sell their enthusiasm for the product. But what if you don't feel enthusiastic? Hill says you can create it. Enthusiasm is born from your definite chief aim. When you are working towards something you deeply desire, something you believe in, enthusiasm comes naturally. Even if your current job is not your ultimate goal, you can generate enthusiasm by seeing it as a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey toward your chief aim. However, unbridled enthusiasm can be as destructive as a wildfire. It needs a governor, a balance wheel. That balance wheel is self-control. Self-control is the ability to direct your thoughts and emotions, rather than being directed by them. It's the mark of a disciplined mind. The person who has mastered self-control doesn't fly into a rage at every slight. They don't get swept away by idle gossip or discouraged by temporary setbacks. They are the calm center of the storm. Hill tells a powerful story from his own life. He had a misunderstanding with a janitor in his office building, who started turning off the lights on him as a prank. One day, enraged, Hill stormed down to the basement to confront him, unleashing a torrent of angry words. When he finally ran out of breath, the janitor, calm as could be, just smiled and said, "Why, you're just a little bit excited this morning, ain't you?" In that moment, Hill was completely defeated. He, the student of philosophy, had been bested by a man who couldn't even read or write, but who had perfect mastery over his own emotions. Humiliated, Hill went back to his office, but he knew what he had to do. He went back down and apologized. The janitor, with grace, accepted. That incident, Hill said, was one of the most important turning points of his life. It taught him that no one can control others until they first control themselves. It taught him the immense power of remaining calm in the face of provocation. When you refuse to be drawn into another person's anger, you retain all the power. You are thinking with your own mind, not reacting with their emotions. Self-control allows you to think clearly under pressure. It prevents you from making rash decisions based on fear or pride. It is the quiet, steady hand on the rudder that keeps you on course toward your definite chief aim, no matter how turbulent the waters. So, we've built the inner person. We have a purpose, confidence, initiative, imagination, enthusiasm, and self-control. Now, how do we present this person to the world? This leads to one of the most practical and powerful principles: developing a pleasing personality. A pleasing personality is not about being born with good looks. It's a cultivated quality, an attractiveness that radiates from within. It's a personality that draws people to you, makes them want to help you, and opens doors that would otherwise remain closed. What's the secret? It's simple, yet profound. Take a genuine interest in other people. Hill illustrates this with the story of an elderly woman who came to his office. He was busy, and assumed she was just another person trying to sell him a book. But as he approached her, she gave him the most wonderful, genuine smile he had ever seen. When she shook his hand, it was warm and firm, telegraphing pure, honest delight at meeting him. In an instant, his defenses melted. For the next 45 minutes, she talked. But she didn't talk about herself. She talked about him. She had read his magazines, and she spoke with admiration about his work and his philosophy. She made him feel like the most important person in the world. Only in the final 3 minutes did she mention that she sold securities. She didn't even ask him to buy. She just described them with such quiet confidence that he wanted to. He didn't end up buying, but he was so impressed that he picked up the phone and introduced her to a friend, who became a major client. That woman was a master of personality. She understood a fundamental law of human nature: people are most interested in themselves. When you show a genuine, unselfish interest in others, in their work, their hobbies, their families, you make a powerful connection. You build a bridge of rapport. This isn't about cheap flattery. People can see through that in a second. It's about finding something you can honestly admire in everyone you meet, and speaking of it with sincere praise. This simple habit, practiced daily, will transform your relationships and make you a magnet for goodwill. But a pleasing personality is just the start. To truly harness the power of relationships, you must practice cooperation. Cooperation, Hill says, is the beginning of all organized effort. No great achievement is ever the work of a single person. Every great leader, every great fortune, is the result of a team of minds working together in a spirit of harmony. This is the very essence of what Hill calls the mastermind. A mastermind is created when two or more people ally themselves, in a spirit of perfect harmony, to attain a definite end. When this happens, a third, invisible mind is created, a force that is greater than the sum of its parts. Carnegie attributed his entire fortune to his mastermind group, a team of about 20 men. He said, "No one person in this group is the mastermind, but the sum total of all the minds in the group, coordinated, organized, and directed to a definite end in a spirit of harmonious cooperation, is the power that got my money for me." Carnegie wasn't an expert in the chemistry of steel or the engineering of production. He was an expert in men. He knew how to select people with specialized knowledge and, more importantly, how to blend their minds and talents into a single, powerful unit. Think of Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Harvey Firestone. They were close friends who went on camping trips together every year. Hill believed that in those quiet moments in the woods, their minds blended. Ford, the master of production, Edison, the master of invention, and Firestone, the master of industry. Together, their combined brain power and shared vision created a mastermind that amplified the power of each individual. To create your own mastermind, you don't need to gather titans of industry. Start with your spouse, a trusted friend, a colleague. Find one or two people who believe in your definite chief aim and are willing to support you. Meet with them regularly. Brainstorm ideas, share your challenges, and hold each other accountable. This harmonious alliance of minds will give you access to ideas, courage, and power you could never achieve alone. But to truly unlock this power, you must adopt a principle that seems counterintuitive to many. You must cultivate the habit of doing more than paid for. The average person thinks, "I'll do just enough to get by. They don't pay me to do more." The person destined for success thinks, "How can I deliver more value? How can I go the extra mile?" This isn't about being exploited. It's a strategy for making yourself indispensable. When you consistently deliver more service and better service than expected, you do two things. First, you attract the favorable attention of those who can promote you. You stand out from the crowd. Carol Downs, who became the president of one of W.C. Durant's companies at General Motors, started by simply staying late. He noticed Durant worked after everyone else had gone home, so he made it his business to be there, ready to help if needed. Durant got into the habit of calling on him, and promotion inevitably followed. But the second reason is even more powerful. It's based on what Hill calls the law of increasing returns. It's a law of nature. A farmer plants a single seed of wheat, and in return, gets a stalk with 100 seeds. When you render service in a spirit of generosity, without expecting immediate payment, the universe has a way of paying you back with compound interest. The reward may not come from the person you served, but it will come. An opportunity will appear from an unexpected quarter. Someone will offer you a position. An idea will strike you. By going the extra mile, you are not just working harder, you are investing in yourself. You are building your skills, your reputation, and your character. You are signaling to the world that you are a person of value. Now, as you begin to apply these principles, you will inevitably encounter something that stops most people in their tracks: failure. This is why one of the most crucial lessons is profiting by failure. Hill makes a powerful distinction. There is a difference between temporary defeat and failure. Most of what we call failure is merely temporary defeat. It's a detour, not a dead end. Failure is only permanent when you accept it as such. Every adversity, every defeat, carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. This is one of the most profound truths in the entire philosophy. Failure is not a curse, it's a teacher. It's nature's way of showing you that your plan wasn't sound, or that you needed to develop more strength, or that you were heading in the wrong direction. Hill himself experienced 7 major failures in his life. He lost fortunes, had businesses stolen from him, and was even arrested on a false charge. Each time, he felt the sting of defeat. But in retrospect, he saw each of these events as a crucial turning point. Losing his lumber business in the Panic of 1907 forced him to study law. Having his candy business taken from him taught him a profound lesson in forgiveness. The war destroying his school led him to start the very magazine that launched his national career. The key is to analyze every setback. Don't just feel sorry for yourself. Ask, what lesson can I learn from this? What weakness in my plan did this expose? How can I turn this stumbling block into a stepping stone? Thomas Edison conducted more than 10,000 experiments before he perfected the incandescent light bulb. A young reporter asked him, "How did it feel to fail 10,000 times?" Edison replied, "I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the mindset of a person who profits from failure. They see every defeat not as a judgment on their worth, but simply as feedback. To navigate this complex journey, to analyze failures, to deal with people, to create plans, you need a clear mind. You need the ability to think logically and without emotion. You need accurate thinking. Accurate thinking is the process of separating facts from mere information, and then separating those facts into 2 classes, the important and the unimportant. We are bombarded with information every day, from the news, from social media, from gossip. Most of it is not based on facts. It's opinion, speculation, or outright falsehood. The accurate thinker learns to question everything. They ask, how do I know this is true? What is the source of this information? Does the person telling me this have a biased motive? But even when you have facts, not all of them are useful. An important fact is any fact that helps you in the attainment of your definite chief aim. All other facts are unimportant, at least for your primary purpose. The successful person is a master of separating the relevant from the irrelevant. They don't waste their mental energy on trivial matters. They focus on the few, critical facts that are essential to their success. Henry Ford wasn't interested in 100 different car designs. He focused on the facts related to one single, efficient, affordable model. John D. Rockefeller didn't get distracted by every new business trend. He focused only on the facts related to the oil industry. Accurate thinking requires you to be brutally honest with yourself. It requires you to set aside your own biases, your wishes, and your fears, and to see the world as it is, not as you want it to be. It is the bedrock of sound judgment. And to use that judgment effectively, you need concentration. Concentration is the act of focusing your mind on a single subject until you have worked out a practical plan for its attainment. It's the ability to control your attention. Think of a magnifying glass. On a sunny day, the rays of the sun are diffused over a wide area. But when you focus those rays through a magnifying glass onto a single point, you can create a fire. That is the power of concentration. The scattered mind achieves little. The focused mind can achieve anything. Your definite chief aim is the object of your concentration. By holding that aim in your mind, day in and day out, you are focusing your mental energy. You are telling your subconscious mind what is important. Hill provides a powerful technique for developing this skill. Each day, go to a quiet place. Relax your body and mind. Then, repeat your definite chief aim aloud, and as you do, use your imagination to see yourself already in possession of your goal. Feel the emotions you would feel. If your goal is to be a great speaker, see the audience, hear their applause, feel the confidence in your heart. This act of concentrated visualization does two things. It programs your subconscious mind to work on your goal, and it builds a burning desire that fuels your actions. The more you concentrate on your aim, the more real it becomes in your mind, and the more inevitable it becomes in your life. As you move through the world, interacting with others, there are two final principles that act as your moral and ethical compass. The first is tolerance. Intolerance, Hill says, is a form of ignorance. It's the closed mind that refuses to consider any viewpoint but its own. It's born from prejudice, racial, religious, and economic. Intolerance creates enemies, closes doors, and limits your ability to think accurately. An accurate thinker cannot be intolerant, because they must be open to facts, no matter where they come from. A great leader cannot be intolerant, because they must be able to understand and work with all kinds of people. Hill tells the story of being introduced to a young man and noticing he wore a Knights of Columbus pin. Instantly, Hill, who was a Mason, felt a wall go up between them. He recoiled. The incident bothered him for days. It forced him to confront a deep-seated prejudice he didn't even know he had. This led him on a years-long journey of research into religion and history, a journey that broadened his mind and taught him one of the most valuable lessons of his life: tolerance is the hallmark of an educated mind. To be tolerant doesn't mean you have to agree with everyone. It means you must respect their right to have their own opinions. It means you must be willing to listen and learn from those who are different from you. The world is too big, and life is too complex, for any one person or any one group to have all the answers. And finally, we arrive at the guiding star of the entire philosophy, the law that ties all the others together, the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This isn't just good moral advice, it's a profound psychological law. Hill explains that every thought you think and every act you commit is registered in your subconscious mind. These thoughts and acts are the building blocks of your character. When you deal unjustly with another person, you must first create that unjust thought in your own mind. That thought then becomes a part of you. You cannot harm another without first harming yourself. Conversely, every act of kindness, every thought of goodwill, elevates your own character. The universe, Hill says, operates on a law of retaliation, or what Emerson called the law of compensation. What you send out, comes back to you. If you send out hatred, you will receive hatred. If you send out cooperation and kindness, you will receive them in return. Again, the reward may not come from the person you served. But by consistently acting with fairness and justice, you build a positive, magnetic character. This character, in turn, attracts people and opportunities that harmonize with it. You reap what you sow, not always from the same field, but the harvest is certain. This is the ultimate form of self-interest. To be good to others is to be good to yourself. To help others succeed is the fastest and surest way to achieve your own success. These 16 principles all operate under one great universal law, the final principle that governs them all, the universal law of cosmic habit force. This is the law that makes all habits permanent. Nature uses it to keep the planets in their orbits and the seasons in their cycle. An acorn always grows into an oak tree, never a pine. This is cosmic habit force at work. This same law operates on our minds. Any thought or action that you repeat over and over again becomes a habit. Once that habit is fixed, cosmic habit force takes over and makes it automatic. This is why bad habits are so hard to break, and good habits are so powerful once they are formed. The entire Law of Success philosophy is designed to help you consciously create the habits that will lead you to success. Each of the principles, from your definite chief aim to the golden rule, must become a habit. You must practice them daily, through repetition, until they become a part of your very being. You develop the habit of self-confidence by repeating your affirmations. You develop the habit of initiative by consistently doing more than you're paid for. You develop the habit of accurate thinking by constantly questioning the source of information. At first, this requires immense willpower and self-discipline. You are digging new mental paths. But as you travel them again and again, they become deeper and wider. Eventually, cosmic habit force takes over, and these positive actions become as automatic as breathing. You no longer have to force yourself to be enthusiastic or to think accurately. You simply are that person. This is the ultimate secret. You have the power to choose your thoughts. By choosing them consciously, and repeating them persistently, you can shape your own habits. And by shaping your habits, you are shaping your destiny, because the universal law of cosmic habit force will take the blueprint of your thoughts and make it your reality. Commentary. As we step back and look at this vast and powerful philosophy, what is the single most important lesson we can take away from Napoleon Hill's life's work? For me, it's the profound and liberating idea that success is not an accident. It's not the result of luck, or genius, or being born into the right family. Success is a science. It is governed by timeless, universal laws that are as reliable as the law of gravity. And the most beautiful part is that these laws are available to every single one of us. Law of Success is more than just a collection of good ideas. It's a complete system for personal achievement. It shows us that the journey begins within. It doesn't start with changing our circumstances. It starts with changing ourselves. It starts with mastering our own minds. The principles we've discussed, a definite chief aim, self-confidence, initiative, cooperation, profiting by failure, the golden rule, are not just abstract concepts. They are tools. They are the instruments with which you can sculpt your character, build your power, and design the life you truly want to live. In a world that often feels chaotic and out of control, Hill's philosophy is a beacon of hope. It reminds us that we are the masters of our fate and the captains of our souls. We have been given the ultimate power, the power to control our own thoughts. And in that power lies the key to everything else. So, how can you begin to apply this wisdom in your own life, starting today? Let me offer 3 simple actions. First, and most importantly, take the time tonight to define your chief aim. Don't just think about it. Write it down. Be specific. What do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? What kind of person do you want to become? This single act of clarity is the most powerful first step you can take. Second, form a small mastermind alliance. It doesn't have to be formal. Just find 1 or 2 people in your life who believe in you, a friend, a family member, a mentor. Share your definite chief aim with them. Ask them to hold you accountable, to encourage you when you face setbacks. The power of a supportive alliance is immeasurable. And third, pick 1 principle from this course and make it your focus for the next week. For example, practice the habit of doing more than paid for. Go the extra mile at your job, at school, or at home, without expecting anything in return. Or, practice the principle of a pleasing personality by making it your mission to find something to genuinely praise in everyone you meet. Just focus on 1 principle, and observe the changes it brings, both in your circumstances and within yourself. Napoleon Hill's journey began with a simple question from Andrew Carnegie. Your journey can begin today with a simple decision. The decision to take control of your mind, to define your purpose, and to start building the habits that will carry you toward your dreams. This philosophy is your map. Now, it's time to take the first step. That was a summary of Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. We've journeyed through the core principles today, but I'll be honest with you, a summary is like looking at a map of a great city. It shows you the layout, but it can never let you experience the energy of the streets, the smell of the cafes, or the feeling of standing before its grand monuments. The real magic happens when you read the book yourself. It's in those quiet moments when a particular story or a simple phrase connects with you in a way you didn't expect. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about today has struck a chord, I truly encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning. It's an experience that can genuinely change how you see yourself and your place in the world. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Your support helps us continue to grow this community of learners. Let's keep growing together.